the Internet's premier talk radio station, voiceamerica.com.
Hi, this is Holly Shaw. I'm here at Digital Hollywood, and I just want to take a moment to say thank you, Digital Hollywood, for having us here. It's just been a real pleasure. And I'm sitting here with Cynthia Lieberman. Cynthia is a marketing media strategist, one of the moderators of a panel tomorrow. How you doing, Cynthia?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. Yeah. It's very exciting here. A lot of things happening in this world.
Have you anything you learned or picked up today? Or?
Well, in the past couple of years, I've been here for AR and VR and branding, and a lot of the subject matter is about influencers now, and how it's affected so many things. I'm also from Fielding University, who is one of the sponsors here,
right.
And I have a master's degree in media psychology and social change, which is the study of human behavior, how it's affected by the media, and how to use it to affect positive social change. And listening to how the influencers in AR and VR are affecting the way that people interact with each other in a participatory culture, and how it's impacting society is very interesting.
Yeah, that must be fascinating. So can you tell me a little bit more about there's this Cyberwise. What is Cyberwise? This is your project, right?
Yeah, Cyberwise is a company. Our motto is no grown-up left behind.
Okay.
And it really was spawned out of the media psychology program from Fielding Media Psychology graduate program with my partner, Diana Graber. And it's about the behaviors behind the tools. It's to teach parents and teachers how to teach kids to be good digital citizens.
Wow.
10 years ago when we started, it wasn't really, people didn't even understand there was no iPhone, which is hard to believe. I mean, 5 years ago, you didn't say, what do you mean you don't have Wi-Fi, And so we would try to explain that teachers are not tweeting. There's all this great stuff being done with technology, but that there's this digital divide, which is closing quickly.
Right. Well, that's really exciting. Myself as a parent of a teenager who's grown up with the iPhone more or less through his adolescence, I'm like, yes, these children need some parameters, or they need some education about how to interact with this. So how does it actually work? Like, how do you actually...
Well, I think that you have to, recognize that parents don't know what they don't know. Mm-hmm. And we're all now, especially on the 24/7 cycle, it seems like, and we're all so busy that unless it's in the phone backyard, we don't pay attention. So in the first round, the millennials kind of got robbed, because in the first round, they were doing things and the parents thought, well, my kid would not do that. And then they'd have a stalking incident or cyberbullying, and kids started, getting depressed and committing suicide and doing things that were very sad. Yeah. And parents, then they go, oh, well, maybe I need to pay attention. But they didn't know what they didn't know because they weren't using these devices. Mm-hmm. But the millennial parents are a little bit different, because even though their children are younger, and I'm speaking of the 32-year-olds and younger, they at least have some awareness of digital media, but we have this sort of gap between those who do know, those who don't know. And one other important thing to think about is that to especially the digital native, which is 12 and under right now, to them shared knowledge is power. I was raised that knowledge was power. You know something, you're good to go, right? Don't share it with anybody else. But to them, they share everything, and they don't have the life experience to figure out what they should do with this knowledge. They just go out and share. My best friend, give her my password, and then they have a fight, and she uses the password and posts something inappropriate, and that digital footprint lasts forever.
Yeah, so you were telling me a story earlier in the speaker's lounge about how you're actually using this technology, like how the classes work. That was kind of interesting.
So the great thing, everything that's on cyberwise.org is free. We have learning hubs and tools and blogs and a newsletter, and it's for parents of all ages, from 3-year-olds to, from babies to college students. We have all kinds of advice. But out of that, my partner, Diana Graber, we met in the media psychology program at Fielding, and she started developing, she had teenagers in junior high at the Journey School in Orange County, and she started developing this curriculum. She said to them, look, let me teach once a week, teach this curriculum to the junior high school students, because they don't understand the behaviors behind the tools, and I'm learning all this great stuff, and nobody understands. And they she started teaching this class. Nobody understood it, and and she slowly developed this whole curriculum. Now it's for all 3 grades. It's called cybercivics.com. It's in 150 schools, 800 teachers, and 4 countries, and it's 1 hour a week. And there are lessons every week, and it goes everything from it's to teach kids to be good digital citizens. It preps
That's
them
great.
for high school. So that, how old is your son?
15.
15.
He's
So
a freshman in high school.
so by now he would understand about identity formation, about bullying, about sexting, about his
yeah.
digital footprint. He might have found out a little bit later the hard way, or you may not have known how to show him the way. And
Yeah.
if you start at 16, it's much harder than when you start at.
Well, and I think there's, it's so true. As a parent, you think you're going to have your fingers in everything, but once they have that device in their hand, unless you're checking it all the time, you don't know what they're doing on there. You're not on Snapchat or, whatever the things are.
Well, it's interesting because the most challenging thing for parents now is, if you didn't want your kid to watch something, you changed the channel, or you didn't let them go to the movie or whatever. But we are in a participatory culture. It's a two-way street. So yes, they could go to a friend's house and watch a R-rated movie or something. But now the device is everywhere. People don't even know. They just hold their cell phones at 2 years old, or they know how to use it better than you do.
I know, it's scary.
So it makes it more challenging for parents. So the key is to provide boundaries for them early, and just say, look, in somebody else's house, maybe that's not how they roll, but we don't roll in this house. Just like you were told you can't watch an R-rated movie. You say, we in being a good parental role model, and don't eat at the dinner table as adults using and not paying attention to your kids. In the Cyber Civics program, Diana had interviewed, I think it was her 7th graders, because nobody ever asked the teens what do they think, right? And she said, so what is it that you don't like about your parents that they do using social media? I hate when they pick me up from school and all they do is talk on the phone. I hate when they come to my soccer game and all they do is talk on their phone and use their iPad.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting. So the parents are as guilty as
well, parents bully, and they don't realize that they're bullying online, and the kids see that, and they copy it.
Yeah.
You know?
So we've been talking a lot about, how media affects us negatively. Are you seeing any other things with the kids these days and their use of media and psychology that's actually a positive or a benefit?
Oh, there's so many great things, especially now with the younger kids who have more tools and there's more knowledge in the world about it. For example, kids would not be able to collect and say, we don't accept this gun control. This is not working for me the way the gun control is, but they can text and collect. They can collaborate and collect.
Yeah.
Or even using, we're at Digital Hollywood with AR and VR. If a child has leukemia and they're in the hospital and they're, you need to be age appropriate, but say they're 10 years old and they are in a hospital for 6 months, they could go to Disneyland, or they lose a limb and they can swim. They can do things that were not available before. Kids who have disorders, you can use it for empathy. In the case of cyber civics, there's kids are learning to become, there are programs and apps. We just had a blog on our site about it, a blog post, where you be an upstander instead of a bystander. If you see something happen, you can even anonymously use this particular app to turn someone in, so that the kids don't have to worry about being harassed.
Cool.
So there's a lot of great things that are positive that are being done for that.
That sounds so amazing. And so what's next for Cyberwise? What do you guys...
Well, Cyber Civics continues to grow. I wanted to comment that there was a great influencer, Rebecca Zamola, that was talking about kids struggling with, they think that if they like her, then everybody will like them, and she really wants them to like themselves. And there are some great classes and curriculum in cybercivics.com. We need to get more legislation. We need our kids to be digital citizens. Your son needs it. You need it. And I just hope to see that continue to grow. To use cyberwise.org for resources.
It's really exciting. Well, thank you so much, Cynthia Lieberman, for being a guest and
thank you.
Talking about this important thing.
You can find us on Twitter at BCyberwise and at cyberwise.org or cybercivics.com. And thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you.